start that I'll be able to use to explain the run a little bit. So we're gonna go 3, 2, 1, go. This is going to be Link's Awakening, 100% reverse boss order, and I did see that the incentive get met, so that 100%, it's really going to be, I guess, 99%. We're going to pick up anything that doesn't put me over 3 hearts, and make it a 3-heart challenge run. About 30 seconds before I was put live, my Super Game Boy 2 decided it wanted to crash. So if at some point during this run the hardware decides it wants to give out on me, I have a backup Super Game Boy, and we'll be okay to go with that. The first thing you'll notice is that this category has no big major restrictions, and on the original version of Link's Awakening for the Game Boy, you can do the trick I did to get down to the beach, which is screen warping. It's pretty easy to do. It's not a frame perfect trick or anything crazy like that. But when you go to move from one screen to the other, you want to open your map menu just as you do that. And you'll see Link stays right where he is, but everything around him will move. And that last screen warper that I'll show off on the map here, if you look on the top left corner, that let me go from the south part of the map, where we were on the beach by the sword, to all the way to the northern part of the map where the warp zone by Dungeon 8 is. And we're going to be taking advantage of that in a little bit. And we're going to be seeing this particular cave quite a bit. There's nothing in here but those 50 rupees, which I've gotten, and those 3 slimes. But those 3 slimes are going to be used to help me get into the Kenner World, which is the next glitch I'm going to be showing off. The movement rules and different things in the Kenner World work differently based on how many kills you've racked up before you go in, and you'll see immediately why it works in such a funky way. If you played this game before, this looks a lot like Dungeon 2, but you can see I can walk through the walls, the graphics are all kaflooey, but that staircase works, which takes me to the back side of Dungeon 1. You can see I'm in level 1, and this lets me get to, when I get these screen warps, where Rock's Feather is, letting me jump and things like that. I'm gonna have quite a lot of fun with this. But depending on how many things you've killed before you enter the Kenner World, different staircases either will or won't work. Different walls either will or won't let you through. And if you're just kind of exploring it for the first time, it's pretty easy to get yourself stuck. For every trip through the Kenner World in this category, we're going to go in with either 3 or 6 kills. And that trick is present in this version and in the Game Boy Color remake, but they work slightly differently. In the Game Boy Color version, the Kenner World has pretty much every item in the game in it. But in the original version, all the chests that you open have just little tidbits of the game script in it, and it'll start playing some music. But you can't actually get items that way, unfortunately, in this version. So we bought the shovel because we can't get into Kenner World. We're gonna buy this bow too. I'm gonna head right.
Mind if I read a quick donation?
Go for it.
Okay, we have $84 from Floaty Baloney.
Hey.
Who says, "For real, let's see that Pokemon Snap. Kona, you've been a real homie, inspiring me to get into RTA, and this is a good opportunity to pay some of that back. Go kill it at Californiathon." Thank you so much, dude. It just blows my mind. That's really amazing. Thank you so much, man.
Now, the other thing I've been doing, 2, 4, I think that's 6. We'll see in a second if I miscount. I think that's 6. The other thing I've been doing to sequence breaks and get out of bounds is a super jump. And it'll be a cave after Dungeon 8 that'll make it a little bit easier for me to explain. But it lets you act as if you're jumping off of the top of a cliff while you're actually standing on the bottom of it. And we're going to be using that mainly to get out of bounds in caves, but in a couple of other ways as well. And even if we were playing a category that had no out of bounds, no wrong warps, which is what the main category for this game is, you're still allowed to use super jumps as long as you don't trigger going out of bounds or a wrong warp with it. So it has uses even in the main category that bans out a lot of the glitch, pretty much every glitch that I'll be using today that's not a super jump. But screen warping, as I said, it's not frame perfect, but you'll see because I didn't get it on this first try. If I want to get over on that little bitty ledge over there, I do have to get the timing pretty close. And you can see Link is just, he doesn't want to sit still on these screen warps. Try it one more time. Missed it again. So if you're trying to get through or right on top of a solid wall, you do have to get the timing pretty precisely. Let me go ahead and line this up before I get myself stuck in the wall. So I'm going to screen warp over here to grab these Pegasus boots. Get out of the way. I'm immediately going to save and quit. You'll notice, unlike the first trip to the Kenner World, going out into Dungeon 3... That's not what I wanted to do. Going out into Dungeon 3 lets me save and quit to the entrance of Dungeon 3. And I need this extra key in this category. So that's another way that the Kenner World kind of doesn't always work consistently. It's kind of hard to predict how it's going to work and where it'll take you. But there's a lot of exploring that can be done with that glitch. So I'm going to take the time here to come over here and grab the key to Dungeon 3. And you see I can screen warp over here and skip this entire little maze, or whatever you'd like to call it. And it looks like the leaf that would be part of the side quest you do before you can get Dungeon 3 key. But it's still the Dungeon 3 key. You'll see I'm going to unlock it right here. And that's one side trip I have to take. I need the sword. I had to take now. When I come back into that area later, I'm not going to have my shovel anymore because we traded away pretty early. So I had to go and dig that up now. We're going to pick up one seashell. Not a piece of heart in this one, but a one seashell we're going to pick up early because of that. But making that small backtrack, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep. Backtracking that small distance saves us multiple minutes later in the run when it comes to trying to learn Marin's song as part of the 100% condition. I'm gonna head back to the Kenner World here. Down, there we go. And this is gonna be our last trip through here for a little while. We're gonna pick up the flippers, which is the last item we need to be able to pretty much explore and go wherever we want to go. No, go to the right. You can see there are instrument rooms out of bounds as well, but they don't always want to give you the instrument. They do like to freeze your game. There is a category called All Instruments that I believe uses some of those glitched out rooms, but we're going to be avoiding them for this version of the game. Oh, come on, get up here. There we go. You can see instead of putting me at the entrance of Dungeon 4, it spat me all the way back out to Aaron's house here. Which is convenient because now we're ready to go to Dungeon 8. And we're going to be using screen warping a lot in here. We're going to be skipping quite a bit of this dungeon. If I can get this screen warp. If I can get this screen warp right through the wall here. Brings you right into Blano's room. And we're going to skip the Blano skip. We're going to do the Blano skip, if you will, to grab that fire rod. Then go right back out to the entrance to go right back to the same entrance we just used. On the back side here. There we go. And you have to, when you do that last screen transition there, you have to hold up and hope that Link kind of slides himself out because he is right in the middle of the wall there. I'm gonna use a super jump here. You can see you gotta get a wall clip right at the bottom. You jump up and you use some kind of slashing weapon that has an animation to jump away from the cliff, and it gives you the added height boost off of the cliff. That puts us right into the Dungeon 8 boss room, the Nightmare Room. This guy's name is Hothead, and his hit points can be a little funky from time to time. It looks like I'm hitting him way, way more than I actually am. Not all of those hits are necessarily taking hit points off. And I just picked up the piece of heart, so I'm going to hit reset because I forgot what I was doing. But this game forces you to pick up said piece of heart in order to get the instrument usually. So even if I hadn't picked it up, I was going to have to reset and get myself all the way back up there to go grab the instrument. Luckily I just didn't hit save after I grabbed that piece of heart. So we're going to do basically the same thing we just did, but I'm going to make Hothead disappear this time. There we go. You can see the game was lagging a little bit there because I had set up the fire rod glitch. If you open up your inventory at the same time you shoot the magic rod, the game gets stuck on the instruction where it's trying to draw a fireball on the screen. So it'll just keep drawing more and more fireballs on the screen until your poor little Game Boy just runs out of memory. And if you do that right at a screen transition, when you change from one room to the next, the only thing it can draw in the next room are all those fireballs that you just spawned on the first room. So no enemies can spawn, no bosses can spawn. Anything that has a sprite pretty much isn't going to show up. There we go. Again, just to show how the game probably felt bigger, especially if you played this when you were younger and this was one of your first games. The game probably feels very, very big, but it's still a Game Boy game with very limited memory capacity. You can see how compact the game map really is when it comes to how it's all stored in memory. And being able to go out of bounds can really let you jump to many, many different places. We just went from the northwest part of the map to the middle of Dungeon 1 to the moat around Camelot Castle in about 4 screen transitions. Get away. I feel like I have missed rupees. But if that is the case, I can make those up a couple of different ways. This is the first of our inventory upgrade shrines. This little demon dude is pretty upset we woke him up from his nap. And he's going to curse us. Oh no, oh dear, it's terrible. We can now carry twice as much magic powder as we could 5 seconds ago. It's the worst curse you could possibly imagine. But again, in game data, all 3 of these little shrines are right next to each other. So being able to skip and go out of bounds and sequence break that way makes it very easy to get those inventory upgrades. But we have an errand to run here in the forest. Or a couple of them actually. I want that heart. I want that heart very badly. There we go. I don't know why I put that away. I can also show off this weird glitch here. For whatever reason, the top right corners of the bushes here in the forest can be picked up and thrown like the gemstones. And this is one of the few NPC interactions we have to kind of sit here and watch this whole thing. We're going to run away before he gets a chance to talk. And then we're going to grab the Dungeon 1 key and save and quit before the owl can swoop down and tell us all about our big grand adventure he's sending us on. Let me do this in order before I forget something. Let me not change my routine here. Since we saved, I think his name is Terran, we can now go back to town and learn Marin's song. But I'm going to skip right through the wall here. And since I skipped the loading trigger for the sprite sheet, Marin's been turned, sadly, into this moblin. But she'll still teach us the song. It's great. The alternative to this is waiting. If you do this in reverse boss order, it really plays chaos. It throws the entire scripting system for this game for a loop. You won't actually be able to learn this song until you beat Dungeons 8 through 2, and before you do beat Dungeon 1, you have to go the long way around, all the way to the Animal Village, and set off that long sequence of events to learn the song. Which is why we do a little bit of backtracking at Dungeon 3 for the Dungeon 3 key, and here for a seashell I'm going to pick up in just a second. So that it gives us a reason to come and do this way, and it saves us a big long trek back to the Animal Village later. As a matter of fact, I don't even think we go in the animal. Why did I screen warp there? There's a wall there. I'm looking at and get trapped there. But since we're not picking up the piece of heart in Animal Village, we're not even gonna go through there. Technically speaking, we're gonna kind of skim the outskirts of town. Yes, that's a big, heavy boulder thingy. It sure is. I should equip this power bracelet. There we go. And we're gonna grab these last two shrines. This aim is not very good. Super jump one more time, get into the last shrine. And for these text boxes, and whenever you're learning a song, you definitely want to mash A. Mashing B tends to cause you to repeat cutscenes, as it does in lots of Zelda text boxes. Go back to the first room. Yeah, man. And we're not going to cut through this cave the way we're meant to either. We're going to go right back out of bounds. And the only kind of tricky thing with screen warping is if you're standing on a cracked tile, when you screen warp, it doesn't reset the timer for the pitfall to appear. So if you're not careful, you can very easily get yourself caught in a loop where you respawn on top of a pitfall that you're just going to constantly fall through. And let me check my... I know I've missed one seashell in town I'll have to pick up later. I'm in the doghouse. And I'll stop in just to show off. That is a little rooster hut, and that is his famous brother Luigi in there, and he takes care of roosters in this game. Luigi has quite a few cameos in it. It didn't start out as a... it wasn't necessarily a serious project at first, and that's not really the terminology I want to use, but it was more of a side project that was being made for fun when it was first being developed. And at some point they realized they actually had a pretty, doggone good game on their hands. And gave it a full development cycle, a budget. And it became, at the time, it was by far the most successful game launch in Nintendo's history at that point. I'm gonna do this puzzle going backwards. And honestly, I don't even think I need those rupees. No, I'm okay on rupees. Yeah, I'm okay on rupees. So, hang on. Come on. Oh yeah, I don't have to do that. Oh, look what I did. I just got myself a little bit stuck. I got so excited I didn't have to do this the long way. There we go. Super jumps are not as difficult as I just made them look in this cave. But I don't usually grab that seashell. I'm just making sure I've got enough of them when we get to the end of the sequence here. which was actually something interesting to talk about as it is. Even for a 100% run, we're only going to grab 20 of the 26 seashells in the game. Once you grab 20 of them and turn them in for your level 2 sword, the rest of the seashells poof out of existence, and there are no more seashells to be gotten. And for better or worse, the community has determined that that's sufficient enough for 100% when it comes to the seashells. There are 2 more cameos right there. There's a Kirby and a Goomba. And hopefully that's going to be all we really see of them. Grab this. And this super jump is the only one in the game that's a little bit different. You have to time it a little bit differently so you don't do what I just did and get stuck in the wall. You want to land on top of those blocks. And you want to get on the outer edge here. So you can sneak in here and go upstairs. The only thing you really need the mirror shield for is to get into Dungeon 8, I believe, and we've already done that. So we're only picking that up to progress towards 100%. And if you've played this game before, you're probably familiar with the pillar and the cannonball, but we're skipping all of that by being able to go out of bounds here. I'll go ahead and grab the instrument first, and we'll come back for the boss fight in a second. Is the game muted? Yeah, look at that, it sure is. At some point, capture card decided it wanted to mute itself. I'll fix that right here. Now you should have audio, but now there's no audio in the game. There we go. It tends to do that if I have to reset for any reason. And I forgot to give it a look-see before I started the run. I'm very sorry about that. Come on. Here we go. But game audio should be on now. It's at least showing up on OBS on my side. And we're going to do the same thing again to get to the dungeon. We're not going to have to make a repeat trip like this for all of the dungeons, but these first 2 are... It's a little bit tricky being able to try and do this in one trip. There's actually for the DX version, somebody's actually made a ROM hack that makes it possible for you to do this without having to backtrack at all. It's just, you know, it's changed the way the doors work, so you don't have to pick up the heart container to advance. But there are no such ROM editors for Link's Awakening, the original, because who's going to play that? There's a Game Boy Color remake out. Why would you play the old one? But that is unfortunately not the case for this version of the game. And yeah, that's a really cheesy way to take that boss out. You just hang out on the ladder, and you're not meant to have the magic rod at this point, obviously. The game is expecting to have at most the hook shot and maybe the boomerang, but definitely not the magic rod. I'm gonna try this one time, and if not, I'll go the very slightly longer way. That might actually be the quicker way. Of course, I'm gonna miss this screen warp like 50,000 times. But if you screen warp yourself into the raft minigame, you don't need the raft. You can just kind of swim around and do what you want. Unfortunately, you cannot jump and grab these items. But if I get this screen warp just the way I need to get it, let's see if maybe I won't get stuck in the wall. Man, this looks so cool when you get it on the first try. Boom. This brings us into the little moat area around Dungeon 6. You know what, though? These guys, I see one of those bombs in my future. They're ready to blast me to death. Because they can actually hit you even with... Oh! They can hit you when you're underwater, too. See, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. My gosh. They are just out for blood. When you get those screen warps on the first try, and they're very hard to do when you're in the water, it looks super cool, and you can get the Dungeon 6 very, very quickly. Otherwise it kind of looks like a mess, a hot mess, but we're here. Okay, and you'll see in just a second, I'm using this as a shortcut to get over to the back entrance for Dungeon 6, but you'll see when we come through here, there's the shrine again that we were getting inventory upgrades in, but we're just passing through this time. Here's one of the chests I need for my rupee count. Boom. And the seashell. And you come back inside and you can save and quit right to the entrance of Dungeon 6. And you have to take care of the wizrobes in this room, and depending on how good your screen warp is, they can spawn in nice places that are easy to kill. They can also spawn in the middle of the wall and be a big pain in the butt. But I would use the magic rod to do that cool funky trick where you make things disappear. I would use that there, but because wizrobes don't appear on the screen right away, it doesn't actually work on wizrobes, sadly. Alright, let me listen. Why did I wait to drop the bomb? See, I waited to drop that second bomb, and I lost my window here. Let me grab this shield before I forget I'm on 3 heart run. There we go. Three, 4, drop. You can drop 3 bombs on him before the fight really starts, but it's a lot easier to do that when you come in through the front door than if you come in through the side. Simply because that pot is just right in the way. You just can't get around the pot. You have to spend the time to pick it up and throw it away. I got a bomb arrow here. See, I spawned a little bit differently that time. Oh no! Oh, they all spawned that time. Ah. That's what I get for rushing it. There we go. You can see right there, the ocarina is going to be your worst enemy when it comes to menuing in this game. I don't speedrun Link to the Past, but I have heard that it works just like the bottles do in Link to the Past and is equally as annoying. There we go. Get up here. Seashells 9. I am short 1 seashell. Oh, but I already know which one I missed, so we are okay on seashells. Next place going is the Catfish Mall, which is Dungeon 5. And it's underwater in the big, I forget the name of the lake, what the big body of water is called in this game. Because this game's not set in Hyrule, it's set in Koholint Island. Which is totally different, not at all whatsoever related. Princess Zelda doesn't even show up in this game. We're in a completely different... we're not in Kansas anymore, I guess is the best way to say it. Princess Peach does make an appearance, though. No, she does in the DX version. I think it's the same photo in the original version as well. If we were to go through the whole trading sequence and not skip half of it like I'm about to do. Click, click, click. There is somebody who is, somebody pointed out to me the other day that this is what's happening. I didn't realize it until then. But somebody is totally being catfished by somebody in Animal Village and thinks that he's a pen pals with Princess Peach. But, it's not. It's a goat. this is also a necklace, and if you think it's something else, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's totally a necklace that we're going to turn into the mermaid up here to advance the trading sequence. And I was able to get the necklace by using a, there we go, talk to the mermaid. By using what's called a bomb trigger glitch. It's a Zelda game, so you gotta have a glitch that works on, through bombs. Or, you know, it's just not a Zelda speedrun, apparently. But if you drop 2 bombs in a 4-frame window, it'll play a cutscene that's supposed to play on the screen. It's not the best way to phrase it, but if I do it on that screen, the special thing that happens there is the fisherman fishes up the big old necklace. But you can use bomb triggers to skip a whole bunch of things. You can use it in Dungeon 7 to knock down all the pillars and not have to touch the cannonball, which is great because that puzzle is just annoying. And even in a speedrun before they discovered that glitch, Dungeon 7 was a real pain in the butt. You can use it to bypass anything that you would have to play music for, so in any percent run, even if you're not going out of bounds and things like that, you won't pick up the ocarina. You'll use bombs instead of the ocarina. Here I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we're playing poor, tiny, small, memory-limited Game Boy game. The only item I can drop in this room is a small key. If I scream up to this room, the only item I can drop in this room is the hook shot. So naturally, there's an item on the screen, therefore, it's totally a hook shot. And as an added bonus, if I solve this puzzle again, since I haven't picked up anything in this room, a small key respawns, which you actually need to be able to get out of the lobby area. So picking up the hook shot early that way lets me skip all 4 mini-boss fights in this dungeon, because there are 4 in this dungeon, and you use a lot of bombs, you need a lot of patience, it just takes time. It's not that much fun. We could skip all of those. And being able to still pick up the small key lets us get out of the lobby. I should not have screen warped in here. I took all these stupid bats with me and that caused so much lag. There we go. We used the fire rod glitch on these next 2 rooms actually. Because this door doesn't open until everything on this screen is dead. And even though I had the hook shot, the mini-boss is in that room waiting to attack me. I don't want to deal with him. Woo! Now, if I remember correctly, this is the biggest sequence of screen warps in the game where I have to, as you can see, go through solid walls for all of them. And I've got the first one, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the instrument first this time. Just because it's easier for me to back up being able to get into the boss room. But we're gonna go back in there for, oh, not Moldorm, what's this guy called? I can't remember what the boss for this one is called. But, it's a completely RNG-based fight. He's going to, knock down 4 holes in the walls. He's gonna peek his head out of exactly one of them. And, he's got his tail just whipping around the room waiting to deal damage to me. So it's completely RNG whether or not he decides to spawn on the side of the room I happen to be covering. Because I can only cover 2 of the... Oh, I missed it. I can only cover 2 of the spots at a time. There we go. Besides this and the last boss rush, there's not a ton of RNG in this game to deal with. Oh good, and we got through first try this time. But this is definitely one of them, and he can just absolutely troll you. I have a couple options. I could sit here on one side of the room and just camp these 2 spots on this side. But if he spawns on the other side, I can't do a thing about it. I can also kind of chase the tail around. But I can still only cover 2 spots at a time. Oh, I can't believe I missed. I missed a swing. I only had one more hit to give. Wait. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna skip the heart container and head on out. I picked up the rupees, so we're good to go there. That is not the feather. But no matter what you hit that boss with, he's gonna take 8 hits. If I had the level 2 sword and a piece of power, and somehow use some cheat code to make me do even more damage than that, he's still gonna take 8 hits to take him down. He also only takes damage from the sword. So I used to try and figure out a way to win this game swordless, and I've got some air quote swordless categories, and the way I deal with him is just to despawn him with the fire rod. But that didn't really feel like I was beating all the bosses doing it that way, so I've kind of moved away from running the game under that rule set. Just didn't feel right. Okay, we're gonna go out of bounds here. See if we can get it without lining it up with the rocks. So there we go. Because if you were somehow get out of bounds and go south here, there's actually the room the Lens of Truth is supposed to be in. But the way the game is programmed, I have to turn into Mermaid Scale and make the statue move. Not just so that the Lens of Truth appears, but as you can see, when you walk up the staircase, you're stuck in the statue. And if the statue's not gonna move, you're just literally stuck there. You're not able to walk out. I'm gonna try and cut across, so I don't have to go through the animal village. I might have got it. Not yet. Now I got it. There we go. And you can see, the reason why I'm doing all this skin warping to get up here is because that big fat walrus is in the way and he is sound asleep. And the only way to wake him up is to carry my butt all the way back to where we start the game. Find out Marin is not at the start of the game. She's at the beach. And you walk over to the beach. You have this long, meaningful conversation with her where she totally doesn't admit her feelings for you or anything like that. Because, you know, she's shy, so that doesn't happen. But after that conversation, then you get to tell her, hey, you should come over to the animal village and sing and wake this walrus up so I can, you know, get on with saving the world here. And then she follows you all the way here. And then she sings for a while, and then she wakes up the walrus. And after you do all of that, then you can maybe learn some Marin's song if you hadn't learned it at that point. So, being able to skip that whole long process is a huge time save. That is also something else that they would skip using bomb triggers. I think I am stuck. Oh no, good. It spawned me somewhere friendly. There we go. Oops, I need to screen warp again. Actually, I need to screen warp 2 more times. I can see this fish here. But now I'm gonna trade away my shovel. I just wouldn't let me hit him. There we go. And there is the boomerang without having to land on the beach. And just to show off our screen warping, going out of bounds one more time. We were over in the animal village, but now we're in our maid village, our hometown. Well, not League's hometown, Marin's hometown. And we need to go back into Kennel World, so eat it. You eat it too. Killing the poor innocent livestock actually does increase our kill count, and we're trying to get back up to 6. Oh, I need to grab, before I forget, the seashell that I usually grab at the start of the game. And I traded away my shovel. We're gonna have to make up that seashell a slightly different way. There is a, as I was saying before, I don't know if I finished the thought, but we actually only pick up 20 of the 26 seashells, so there are actually a couple of backups we can use. Let's see, it just beat Dungeon 5. We're gonna head to Dungeon 4. And we were already here earlier. We picked up the flippers already. We grabbed the nightmare key, so the only thing left to do in Dungeon 4 is beat the boss. So, Dungeon 4 is going to absolutely fly by. We are in Dungeon 4. And... we are done with Dungeon 4. And this is one of the ones where I don't have to make a repeat trip, because it actually is going to let me walk away. But it's not going to let me walk in the instrument room, so I'm going to have to screen warp through. See, if I was better at menuing, if I was a lot better at menuing, I would already have Feather Sword equipped. And I don't think it really saves you enough time to make it worth an extra menu, but I'm gonna show something off anyway. If I can, I might have just missed it. Nope, I got it. If you have Link in the middle of a sword slash when the singing starts, you can kind of wiggle over here and save a little bit of time. Yeah, this is the only song in the game we're going to learn where the screen's going to look somewhat normal. We're going to immediately use this song to teleport. Because we're going to get song 3 now, but it's not going to look anything like the way the developers intended it to look. Let me make sure I have enough. Yeah, I got enough cash to grab this potion, which counts towards 100%, and also more or less gives me an extra life if I run out of hearts, which is really great because I only got 3 hearts. This is screen warp. Oh, come on now. Nope, I don't need an AP piece of heart because we're not getting them. But as you can see, we were already here, but much like that seashell I accidentally skipped. I can't pick up Dungeon 3 key now because I have no shovel. And this jump right here is just my worst enemy. You don't need the boots to get across it. It's not a hard jump to get over a gap like that. I can't do it. I'm just no good at that jump. As simple as it is just not in my inventory. I ain't got it. We're gonna make one extra trip through this cave system, and we're out of bounds as you can tell. We're gonna have to make one extra trip to grab a seashell. But if you can tell by the music, you can kind of tell by the shape of the tiles here. That's actually the tower that you would fight the Dungeon 7 boss on. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab this extra seashell now. Let me see where it spawns me. Yep. See, that's what I was saying about Screen Warp and playing funny tricks on those cracked tiles. I wanted to make one extra trip, unfortunately, because I got caught. I don't know why he spawns sometimes and not other times. I think it has to do with whether or not I enter in the middle of the room. I thought I was going to take damage there. I would have been a little upset. But it would have been a little funny. And now the music's gonna play because, you know, we're in a boss fight now. Super serious time. That's what I wanted to do. Let's come over here and grab this seashell, which was actually in the Armos maze, but I'm not gonna take that staircase or we're gonna lose multiple minutes. And we're gonna make that same trip one more time. Where are my boots? Yeah, see, I wasn't dead center, and I think that is what determines whether or not he actually shows up. Screen warp over here. Reset the tiles. And this is Wart from Super Mario Bros. 2. He's here to teach us this super pumped up amp song that's full of energy and life. And is totally plot related. See, you can kind of see Wart in some of these frames. It's my best song in the game, and the headbutt's amusing. Only one of the earbuds is working in it, sadly, so I can hear half of it. It's a great song! Kiro Kiro! Normally you would use that song to bring the Flying Rooster back to life, and probably something else I'm forgetting. We're just picking up because we're playing 100%. It costs 300 rupees. Oh, see, there goes my potion. I can't believe that is what's gonna cost me a potion, but it's alright. Yeah, good. Got all of the seashells. I am caught up on seashells. And if you remember earlier, we were already here. You can see I got the Nightmare Key already. I got 2 small keys already. For this category, I'm gonna need 3. And, oh, something for the double there. Let me grab this key. Oh, I missed the second one. We've walked away from it now, but the room that Wart is in. Hold on, let me think about how I'm supposed to do this without freezing the game. Ah, I got stuck. Yes, it's a big heavy pop. I know what it is. I might be thinking of Dungeon... Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to, might be doing this in the wrong order. We're going to see what happens. There we go. Okay. I got me the instrument, and, the only problem is, if I do that trick again, it'll put me in this room, the instrument will be gone, the door will be open, but if I walk into the boss room from the wrong side, right in the middle of the room, the game will just freeze. It just doesn't like you sequence breaking that way. I don't know why. I don't know why it's coded any differently from one door to the next, but it is. So we're gonna have to go into the boss room correctly. But it's not gonna be a repeat trip, we're gonna take a slightly different path. So we'll see a little bit more of Dungeon 3. And that is what I need so many keys for. Yup. There we go. That are not the boots. But I'm gonna skip a couple of these key blocks by screen warping halfway through the maze. I'm gonna skip the last key block with a flock skip. You get a wall clip, you kind of jump into the key block and hold diagonally, and when the text box opens, it gives you that one little frame of movement that you need to kind of wiggle yourself in between the 2 tiles and get where you want to go. There we go. Oh. Watch this. My poor Super Game Boy. I think it is kaput. Yeah, let me swap over my regular Super Game Boy. I think my Super Game Boy 2 is quite dead, because it has been giving me issues a couple of times. This is a ooh, it lost my save. It lost quite a bit of save. Look at that. Okay, we're gonna have to backtrack quite a bit here. Ah, Super Game Boy 2, you've really let me down. But it does give a little bit of opportunity to talk about the difference between the Super Game Boy and the Super Game Boy 2. It is not a completely lost situation. We'll take it as a learning experience. The first thing you might have already noticed, in fact, is Super Game Boy runs a little bit faster. As you can transition, they're a little bit snappier. Link is moving around just a little bit quicker because the ooh. Oh, look at this! It is actually what it has done is it lost some of my save, but not all of my save. It lost the seashell that was in his chest, but it's actually gone. Ho ho ho! Ho 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 ho! Why would you do such a thing to me? Do I have song 3? No. Let me at least go get song 3 because where I want to go is kind of in that room anyway. And I will. There's yet another backup seashell I can grab, but it is a little bit of a ways away, so we'll worry with that in a second. Let me get to Wart's room and I can talk more about the Super Game Boy. I cannot believe it ate my save that way. But you see, the top left tile in this room is a cracked tile. So, there are two things kind of going on here. If I come into this room out of bounds from the left, the right, or the bottom, the game will freeze. If I come in from the top, the game doesn't freeze, which is great. It lets me skip the whole signpost maze. If I come in a very top left corner, the cracked tile will break during the song. Link will fall through the hole, respawn, and fall through the hole constantly for this entire song. The game will take my 300 rupees, it'll take all of my hearts, give me a game over, and not give me the song. It is a complete and total disaster to be stuck on that hole for this cutscene. Like, you get absolutely nothing. You lose everything. It's just very sad. It's hilarious when it doesn't happen to you. You know what? You got me last time. How about that? There we go. Oh no, wait, that's Seashell 18. Ah, I didn't lose any of my data. I forgot about that seashell. We're okay. Dang, it did lose, I did lose is the instrument. And what I may do for the sake of time is just come in here and beat the boss, rather than grab this instrument again. Just to save some time having to repeat that. Of course you're gonna tag me. Which means I don't really need this extra key, but that's okay. But, yes, Super Game Boy versus Super Game Boy 2. You can probably hear it, you can especially hear it in the audio when I pick up items. The Super Game Boy runs a little bit faster than the Super Game Boy 2, and it's not necessarily because the Super Game Boy is better. It runs faster than the original hardware would even run. It runs faster than a Game Boy, which means for most purposes, for most communities, I can't think of any exceptions, the Super Game Boy is not really allowed for speedruns. Because it's a little bit like being able to overclock your console and make it run faster. It doesn't really run to hardware specs. It's probably more akin to being able to, enable frame skip on your emulator for your run. It's not really an accurate depiction of how long it's taking you to beat the game. The Super Game Boy 2 also has... oh no, that is what I want. Super Game Boy 2 also has a link cable. So if, for whatever reason, you had a Super Game Boy 2 and your friend had a Super Game Boy 2 and you both had Super Nintendos, you could, I don't know why you do it this way, but you could trade Pokemon, for example, or have a Pokemon battle when your two little Super Nintendos sitting side by side. Oh yeah, Al's not gonna show up because I am skipping this instrument. And, I'm not looking at chat right at the moment. If there is outcry about me not grabbing the instrument, I'm more than happy to go and get it, but you already saw me get it once, and unless there, you do want me to go back and backtrack, I'm going to let it go at that. But I certainly don't mind. I'll do whatever you want me to do. You know what I didn't do though is I didn't grab the seashell up here. Because again, I am a man of routines, and usually when I'm talking about the owl that shows up there, I'll come up here and grab the seashell. There we go. There we go. Outraged! Unthinkable! Unforgivable! I'm very sorry that the hardware chose like the worst possible moment to give out. If it had held on for about 30 more seconds, it would have been right after save and quit, and we wouldn't have lost any progress. If it had died about 2 minutes earlier, it would have died right after a save and quit and not lost any progress. It just chose that particular moment. We got there. We got our 3 songs, we got 20 seashells, here's a level 2 sword, the boomerang, with the exception of hearts, obviously. This is pretty much 100% other than hearts and, well, the dungeons. We got 2 more dungeons left to go. And, I'm actually gonna go back and through the doghouse glitch again. But you notice I'm not gonna kill anything this time. I'm actually just gonna go right to the doghouse. And as I said, it does different things depending on how many kills you've racked up. If you go in with 0, it'll teleport you right to Gopongo Swamp. Right next to Dungeon 2. I jumped right onto that. As if I wanted to give it a big ol' hug. And you can use the Kennel World to go in to Dungeon 2 and spit you pretty close to where, well, right into the room where the Nightmare Key spawns. But for the purposes of this category, it's a little bit faster to go through the front door. Screen work. Yeah, it's gonna spawn in the wrong place. Cute. You can especially hear it on the item drop. Fanfare. Ooh! Forgot that I wasn't gonna work on him. That the Super Game Boy one's just a little bit faster. I didn't need to remember that. Oh! Don't! Miss the first jump. Don't miss the next one. There we go. Again, you're not meant to have the fire rod in. It was Dungeon 7 the last time we took advantage of it, much less Dungeon 2. Dungeon 3 as well. The eyeballs definitely don't like the fire rod. And the reason why it's a little bit faster in this category to go through the front door is because I'm gonna screen warp down here. We have to do this, again, we have to make 2 trips here, rather than do it all in one big fell swoop. But, you can screen warp right into the room with the instrument. We're gonna do that same thing again, go right into the boss room, but we've unlocked the shortcut to get ourselves halfway there now. And the Kennel World will put you right into the room. I'll point out the room when we get there. The Kennel World will put you pretty close, but you can't use the Kennel World from right outside of Dungeon 2. It's a one-way trip. Well, it's not a one-way trip, but you're not close to town for your second trip through. That plant usually likes to pick me off. But yeah, this room right here, you can Kennel Warp right into this room. But you're not next to the kennel after you beat it once. I missed it twice. 3rd time's a charm. There we go. What's this guy's name? I think this guy's name is Mad Genie. And, if you don't know the speed tech for him, he actually has quite a lot of health for being a Dungeon 2 boss. Like, in a casual playthrough, like, well, in this playthrough I've got 3 hearts. In a casual playthrough, you'll have all of 4 hearts, and he takes a ton of hits. You're gonna skip one of these phases, though. You're getting a wall clip here, and throwing him into the wall. And the bottle breaks immediately, rather than taking 3 hits. And you prep your bomb and your magic rod. You drop the bomb, come down here and you wait. And you try and use the magic rod to knock him back into the bomb. And I don't need that piece of heart, so we're just gonna leave. There is Ocarina. And that just leaves Dungeon 1. That is not the boots. Oh, now I'm gonna get a whole bunch of them in a row. Look at that. Where has that been the whole run? We're not gonna go to the Kenner World this time. We're gonna go back to Marin's house, actually. Just in case I miss this next screen warp and look silly. Stuck in a wall. But we got it. And by the way, right here is where, if you're missing a seashell, there's one in that tree. But, we didn't need it. We're gonna head to Dungeon 1. And, again, we've got the special item from here already. We already got Rock's Feather. We've been using it the whole run. Pretty much non-stop. So the only thing we really need to do is be able to get into the boss room. That small key is optional, but you walk right by it, and you're much less likely to be stuck in a wall if you grab it. So I've been grabbing it. There are just other things I can tweak and get better at and practice in the run for me to make that small key make a huge difference. But it's for that door right there, and you can screen warp through it, but there's a chance you can get stuck in the wall. Use a fire rod. There is a mini boss in that room, but we made him disappear. Oh, I walked right into it, and those do 1 full heart of damage. So pro tip there. I jumped right on him and just gave him a big ol' hug. But, again, we sequence broke. We're not meant to have the level 2 sword. This guy— oh, you punk! You punk! You punk! Oh, I am embarrassed. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. He got me twice. He got me twice. I'm gonna retire. I'm not playing this game ever again. I can't believe he got me twice. I'm done. I'm so done with this game now. Come here. Cooperate. There. 1 shot on the 3rd shot. First try every time. Let me, not grab that heart container after all of that. What a jerk. He is way easier in this game than he is in Link to the Past. He is way easier than I just made him look. He is the simplest boss in the game. That was just a travesty. That was awful. I can't remember which version does which, but when you fall off of the cliff in one of these Link's Awakening games, you can mash that jump button, and when you change rooms, it'll actually immediately jump up and jump back into a different screen transition. But in one of the versions, it takes you to the glitch world, and you don't know where you end up. You end up in the middle of absolutely nowhere useful. In the other version, it actually spits you out right back outside the boss room, and I couldn't remember which one does which, so I didn't want to show it off. I ended up showing off something stupid. Considering I'd already looked dumb enough as it was. But, actually, that's all the dungeons, so we actually have to head back to town, and you might think it's faster just to walk back to town from Dungeon 1, but there are two issues with that. The owl is sitting right outside of Dungeon 1 waiting to blabber off at you, and that takes time. Also, we want to go in this lady's house because it's on the north side of town. You can see there is the heart piece that we don't need. But that would normally be the last heart piece of the game we pick up. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. But we want to go out of bounds and more or less just go straight to the left. Because as you look into keys over there, we're actually missing one. We're missing the key for Dungeon 6. We've already finished Dungeon 6. We don't need to go to Dungeon 6. We still need to pick up the key for Dungeon 6. And that poor lady's house that we've raided, just walked into like we own the place, is on the same map as the Armos Shrine, and it's pretty close to it. So that just leaves the one fish. I'm going to try and show off the quick kill, so I'm not going to take the... You can actually screen warp into it and cause a little bit of a glitch, but it kind of throws off your quick kill. Oops. And you can also skip this text box, but I have not practiced the quick kill while skipping the text box. It changes the positioning a little bit. So I let the text play out. Also, that text box skip just is not my friend. It just doesn't like working for me. The first form is a funky looking quick kill if I get it. And I didn't get it. The timing is a little different on Super Game Boy. But you'll notice it actually counted as one of the hits. It should only take 2 hits. It's pretty simple. It's simple to explain. It's a little bit tough to... I'm gonna need a Rock's Feather here because I only got 3 hearts. But you time your spin slash when the blob is right at the top of his jump. And after you spin slash, you slash into him, and you literally just wiggle your sword around in his body. It is not any more complicated than that. But you have to keep your sword in a certain range of pixels for it to continue doing damage, and if you do that long enough, the blob will just change. Oh my gosh. You'll get past the first phase. This is actually being really friendly. After the first 2 shots that you reflect, he can throw fakes at you at a air quote 50% rate. When he's trolling you, it's gonna feel a lot less than 50-50. But it's technically a 50-50 chance of whether he throws you something you can reflect. Just not miss this because I got 1 heart. There we go. Then the full arm quick kill. Those are not. That's not the boomerang. The rest of the phases go down pretty quick with the level 2 sword. And with a quick kill on the Moldorum to kind of keep him stun locked in place. This last phase goes down. Oh, getting trolled by this hitbox. It takes 16 arrows, 16 bombs. I have no idea how you'd fight this guy with bombs, but it can be done. He also takes 1 hit from the boomerang, but the hitbox can be a little bit funky. Then when we get to the top of the staircase and the screen fades to white, that is time. But with the level 2 sword and a couple of tricks up your sleeve, the final boss rush goes by very, very quickly. Especially if you don't miss the first quick kill. 108.16. That's a little bit overestimate. But not too bad, because then I had to switch carts. I'm over here just glaring at my Super Game Boy 2 right now. But I think I'm gonna need to replace that pretty soon. But I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for inviting me, having fun, and for donating towards the incentive. I know I'm not going to be able to get out to Californiathon, but it is nice to be able to contribute, make that the best event it can be by making sure the people who are going to be able to get there and put on it's going to be a good show. So I want to thank everybody for inviting me, let me contribute to the cause in whatever way that I could. And I thank you again for community donation side of it. as cheesy as this might sound, it's the first time I've had a donation incentive met. I've just been tickled pink. I'm so happy. So thank you everybody who donated to that. And despite the hardware difficulties, that definitely made my day. I know the event's not about me, but that really made my day, and I was glad I was able to put on a show for you guys.